What's going on, Supreme family? It's Calvin here, aka Young Cal. I wanted to check in with you guys to give you guys an absolute banger today. As you all may have read the title, how I went from $0 to $100,000 in just 16 days at 19 years old. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the Shopify analytics so that you guys can see everything. I'm going to go deep into the apps that I have on my store, the KPI calculator that I use to analyze my metrics, and most importantly, I'm going to be showing you guys my Facebook ads. We're going to hop right into my live business manager to be able to take a look at that. I'll be going through everything that you need to know to be able to replicate the same process that I did. If you want to see how I'm able to live the laptop lifestyle at 19 years old, make sure to soak in all of this information and to watch the whole video through. Before we get into that, you know the Supreme team always gives away a free consulting call every single week. Before I announce the winner of last week's video, if you want to get the chance to be able to win a free consulting call from the Supreme team, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment the word Wi-Fi with your biggest takeaway, and make sure to follow AC_Hampton on IG and follow our YouTube channel as well as our IG at Supreme_Ecom. And for last week's winner, we have Matt. Congrats, Matt. Make sure to hit us up on Supreme_Ecom to be able to get your code to get that Supreme blueprint. If you guys want to get the chance to be able to learn how I'm able to scale to 6 figures, we have a brand new case study with just 6 spots left. Again, that's only 6 spots left. With this case study, you get 24/7 chat support, a team full of 6 to 7 figure marketers to be able to tailor a plan around your success, advanced scaling strategies, and much, much more. If you want to get the chance to be able to apply for this case study, DM the word Cal to AC_Hampton or at Supreme_Ecom at IG. This case study definitely changed my life for the greater good, and I know that it can change yours as well. So let's get started. Now, as you guys can see, I did about $110,000 in total revenue within a 16-day time span from October 16th to October 31st. I had about a 2.14 customer return rate. So, you know, I believe my retargeting was pretty decent as well, since that is pretty above the average line of 2%. My average order value was $53.69. And as you guys can see, most of my store sessions really came from the United States and Canada, also with the United Kingdom and Australia in the mix as well. Majority of all my sales came from Facebook. I cannot stress to you guys how powerful Facebook advertisements are. And let me go ahead and refresh the page so you guys know that I'm not lying. And as you guys know, what AC always preaches is men lie, women lie, but numbers do not lie. Now for my apps, I had abandoned cart recovery email. I simply wanted to retarget the people who inserted their email at checkout but didn't get the chance to actually fully purchase. Got your alley reviews for some high quality reviews. I went in and edited them myself. Auto currency switcher, I wanted to make sure that whenever a customer landed on my page, regardless of the location that they were at, the currency would cater towards them. Discounted pricing to be able to increase my average order value. Frequently bought together as well to increase my average order value. SMS bump, same thing like the retargeting for email. I wanted to retarget them but using text messages now. And booster sticky add to cart in order to provide a faster way for them to go ahead and add to cart and even initiate checkout. And here you guys can see my actual live engagement on this particular post. I had about 66,000 likes, 39,000 comments, and 49,000 shares. And one thing that I can tell you is that every single comment in here got commented back. I wanted to make sure that my customer service was on point. As soon as somebody left a comment on my post, I wanted to make sure that I catered my answer around them to be able to provide an absolute overall great experience. Now, this is just the engagement on just one of my ads. I do a lot of creative testing and a lot of retargeting things going around. And one thing that I can really vouch for is that my e-commerce brand did so well because the customer service was on point. A lot of people always mitigate that aspect, but you have to understand that these people are here for a good experience. And if you're not providing that, Facebook will ultimately lower your ranked post for your advertisement, and you'll get more expensive traffic as well. I definitely hired a VA once the comments began to pick up. Once I began to scale, I was receiving almost 100 to 500 comments a day. This post definitely has over 1 million views as well. So I actually tested this product on a general store, and once I began to accumulate a lot of data from my pixel, I transferred it over to a niche specific store with all that data that I accumulated. I only utilized this one product with its 2 upsells. Once I began to see that this product was working for me, I began to invest a lot more capital into the branded content aspect of things. And one thing that I had to do was I had to let the market validate this product for me. I'm never trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm simply trying to take what's working and make it work for myself. So the very first campaign that I always start is a cold interest campaign. Basically, all I did was I had 10 ad sets in a CBO of $100 with a $5 minimum spend. Every single ad set had only one interest. You never want to stack up more than one interest because then you won't know where the purchases is coming from or which interest is less performing than the other. So as you guys can see here, I was targeting things like kitchen utensil, whirlpool, bleach, dishwashing liquid, major appliance, cooking show, camping. I think you guys can kind of get the idea of what niche my product was actually in here. As you guys can see, these are my KPIs for this particular product. My average order value was $47. My average cost of goods was $12.80. And over here where it says break even KPIs, these are what I needed to meet in order to at least break even on these interests and these ad sets. If you guys want to be able to get a copy of this particular KPI calculator, it's going to be in the Supreme Ecom blueprint as well. And so once I began to see that the product was picking up for me, I stopped utilizing the break even just because I wanted to focus on a little bit more profit. So I began to utilize the profit target KPIs, which is why this KPI calculator is extremely helpful because you just know what numbers to cut at. And so for me, I wanted at least 20% profit margins. I think that was, pretty modest of, this particular product based off of the given numbers. And so my break-even cost per purchase based off of a 20% profit target is $24.33. My break-even return on ad spend on the break-even KPIs was a 1.39, but my profit target break-even ROAS was a 1.93. And basically what this KPI allows you to do is it allows you to not spend more money on any unprofitable ad sets and also to not cut prematurely on ad sets that have not gotten a chance to spend at all. And so here are my results for day one. As you guys can see here, I only spent about $79.61, so it actually didn't get its full $100 spent for some reason. But based off of the amount spent, look at my purchase conversion value at $239.94. And my return on ad spend was a 3.01 on day one. So right off the bat, I definitely knew that this product had a lot of potential for me. Especially given, looking at the front end metrics as well. Also, if you guys can see here, my account actually got disabled, so I wasn't able to continue to scale this further due to this reason. And so just looking at my front end metrics, as you guys can see here, my cost per content view was around 34 cents, which is extremely cheap. I only want that to be less than $1. My cost per click was 10 cents. I only want that to be below 50 cents. My click-through rate was going absolutely insane. It was at a 12.48%. So I knew my thumbnail was doing extremely well and getting my customers to click through to my videos. My CPM was at $11.97. I wanted that to be around $8 to $13, so I knew that my traffic was, pretty cheap for the most part. And overall, on just this cold interest campaign, I spent $8,000 just to make a return of almost $18,000 back. The return on ad spend on overall in the campaign, just for the cold interest alone, was a 2.24. And if you guys recall on my KPIs, my break-even return on ad spend was only a 1.39. And if I wanted to go with my profit target return on ad spend, it was a 1.93. I was still above that mark and I was still able to be very profitable with this product. And so when I began to horizontally scale, I was looking for interest with the highest return on ad spend with the lowest CPMs. I wanted similar interest that yielded the same results. And so once I began to identify some working ad sets for me, some working interest for me, I began to micro scale it down using breakdowns. And so once I began to see a particular breakdown that was yielding the highest return on ad spend, I began to only target that specific breakdown. And so as you guys can see here, I did US bleach because I saw that US bleach had like a 5 return on ad spend and I wanted to push more money into just targeting United States bleach. Same thing for 35 through 44 female bleach. I saw that this particular age group and gender was doing extremely well and was very profitable for me within this particular interest, and I wanted to scale upon that as well. I cannot stress how important it is to be able to feed your pixel in order to wipe your competition out. At this point, I wasn't randomly just testing different interests. I was utilizing, tactical interest scaling by going by the lowest CPM and highest return on ad spend. And basically, I didn't know which interest would work, which is why you do a cold interest campaign, because you want to identify those particular interests and then be able to scale upon those as well. And so the next thing I did after I began to run my cold interest campaign, once the data spoke to me, I began to run my 95% and my 75% video view custom audience lookalike campaign. And so I'm not going to get into depth about this particular campaign here, but one thing you guys need to know when you're testing out any lookalikes and any custom audience is you always want to test from 1% all the way up to 10%. You don't want to do 1 to 3, you don't want to do 4 to 7 or 7 to 10. You want to test out each one individually in order to identify which particular percentage does well for you. And from there, you can then break down, you can then vertically scale as well, the same like how you do within your cold interest campaign. And so the next thing that I got into right after running all my lookalike campaigns and setting those things up, I began to get into my retargeting campaign. And so now within your retargeting campaigns, you have two things. You have your warm and you also have your hot. Your warm retargeting is anyone who has taken an action right before clicking on your shop now button. So this can include your 95% video views, your 75% video views, and also your Facebook and Instagram engagement. And so as you guys can see here within my warm retargeting, I had just those particular custom audiences in my campaign. As you guys can see, I got my Facebook engagement, I've got my 95% video view, I got my 75 as well. And now within this particular warm retargeting campaign, I was using my OG ad, but within the ad copy as well, I was incentivizing a smaller discount sale just to get them a little push. I gave them a 5% off discount with free shipping as well. And in addition to using my OG video, I actually began to use picture ads. Let's hop right into my hot retargeting as well. If you guys can see here how much I spent just for hot retargeting alone, I spent $800 just to make back $2,000. So with these retargeting campaigns, you're spending a lot less because you've already acquired a lot of these customers and you're simply just trying to retarget them back to purchase on your store. And so I was able to place a lower budget on my retargeting campaign, starting at around $50, and I began to vertically scale that as well budget wise, and it began to yield me results such as this right here. I had a 2.56 return on ad spend. My cost per purchase was only $20.64. And as you guys can see here, all my front end metrics, I was still having very, very high click-through rates. I had a 7.59% just for my hot retargeting alone. I had a 23-cent cost per click and a 61-cent cost per constant view in the hot retargeting campaign. Now within your hot retargeting campaign, you have two particular custom audiences. You have your website visitors and you also have your add to cart. These people who took a hot action on my site deserve a way bigger discount, which is why I gave them a 10% discount in addition to free worldwide shipping. Now within my hot retargeting, I began to use a lot of testimonial reviews, but I wasn't just randomly picking any reviews. I was listening to my customer base. In my comment section, people were saying who it would be great for, how it would be used, and I began to yield and utilize images and reviews around those particular customer base that my customers were giving me in order to really maximize on this particular product. And I'm about to take you guys into the ad set level to see how I structured it. So as you guys can see here, I scheduled it at nighttime. It's in Pacific time, but I'm in Central Standard Time, so I had to schedule it about 2 hours earlier. I had a $5 minimum spend on this. I was only targeting the United States, New Zealand, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. My age, I left it from 21 to 65. In my detailed targeting, as you guys can see, I only did one interest. Languages, I did English. I did automatic placements as well, and everything I left at default. And as you guys can see here, here is the creative right here. With all that engagement that I was showing you guys earlier, I had 39 comments and 49,000 shares as well. And so one of the last final things that I began to do in order to scale very, very quickly and very, very high is I began to utilize no interest campaigns. I used no interest campaigns as soon as I hit 500 purchases. At this point, I had enough data in order to feed my pixel, and I wanted my pixel to go out and do its thing to acquire the best customers. Now within these no interest campaigns, you're not targeting anybody, you're just allowing Facebook to go out within that broad audience that you have within the ad set level and to just acquire the customers based off of, very, very cheap metrics and acquiring very, very cheap traffic. You have lower CPMs, you have lower cost per click, and you also have higher click-through rates as well because you're not telling them who to target. Facebook is just gonna go out and do it themselves. And the reason why I love no interest and the reason why I wanted to get to this point right here is because you can scale these as hard as you want because they simply have no limit at all. And so basically that is what I did in order to scale from $0 to $100,000 in 16 days at 19 years old. And lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys into my order metrics to show you guys how much I was able to profit. And so just taking a look at my order metrics, you guys can see my revenue again, I did $110,000. My cost of goods was around $32,000 as well. Within discounts from, retargeting or even SMS bump or my email recovery, I gave out around $2,500 in discounts. My ad spend was around $30,000. I had a net margin of 39%. Remember, within my KPIs, I was only trying to target 20% profit margins, but I ended up having a lot higher margins on this product as well. And within that 16-day time span, I was able to net profit a total of $43,067. And so that's not too bad for 16 days. I really wanted it to scale it even higher, but due to Facebook banning me and I was trying to go back and forth with them to try and get my account back, I wasn't able to at this particular moment. But that is how I was able to go from $0 to $100,000. And if you guys want more information on how I was able to do this, again, we only have 6 spots left for this case study of January. Again, that's only 6 spots left. Now I'm going to be wrapping up the end of this video, so I really want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Supreme Ecom YouTube channel and watching this case study. Remember, if you guys want to learn how I'm able to scale to 6 figures quickly, make sure to DM the word Cal to AC_Hampton and DM the word Cal to Supreme_Ecom on IG. And with that being said, I'm Young Cal and I'm out.